Local all morning. This is Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Wolcott 911.
Hi, I need police and ambulance.
What's going on?
3 people just got shot.
You got what?
3 people just got shot.
And first at 6, 3 people are dead after a domestic dispute escalated. We'll have more on that 911 call from Wolcott coming up in just a few minutes. Well, thank you for joining us here on this Friday on Fox 61. I'm Tim Lammers.
And America Areas, good morning and happy Friday to you. It's chilly out there, but we are hoping for a weekend warm-up. Meteorologist Sam Tamperi is breaking down the details as far as who's going to get the warmest and when that's happening. Sam, good morning.
It looks like our warm spell will really start this afternoon and then really spill over into southwestern Connecticut tomorrow, where we can have, a May spring fling as opposed to the end of March. We're starting out pretty much typical for the time of year. Good Friday morning, everybody. We're in the 30s in the Hartford area, 48 now in New Haven, 29 though in Granby, 39 Avon, the 35%. Temperatures all over the place because we have basically a calm wind, partly cloudy to clear skies. We had a couple of flurries roll on by earlier, and you can see the temperature profile, upper 20s in Willimantic to 48 in New Haven. And that's going to be the story the next couple of days. Big temperature contrast in our small state. Not much going on radar. Yeah, it looked a lot worse, but that's all the history now. A little front coming in today. So a mix of sun and clouds, and high temperatures will be averaging basically in the upper 50s to lower 60s. And yes, it's going to feel nice, especially by the time we get into tomorrow in parts of Connecticut where we could see temperatures up near and over 70, but then much cooler. For Sunday, I'll be back in a few minutes, and I'll talk about your weekend weather and the best chances for rain, how warm it will get, and what you can expect on your Fox 61 7-day forecast. All coming up in a few minutes. Now on over to the latest traffic, a 6 o'clock hour. How are we doing, Tim? Good Friday morning to you.
And good Friday morning to you, and of course to all of you out there. Traffic is running fairly smooth. A lot of those overnight delays from road work have cleared up. Still a problem in Waterbury. Looks like on I-84. We'll get you more information on that. Outside of that, there were some crashes, especially out in Putnam. Those have since cleared up. Those were from overnight. And we're in that sweet spot where all the road work is done, but there's just not enough volume to start seeing the usual congestion-related delays, especially on I-95. Expect that to happen soon. Let's take a quick look outside on the roads. I-84 in Hartford, see what we're talking about. Cars are out and moving, but there are no slowdowns. And I-91 in Meriden is also not seeing a problem on either side of the highway.
Sir?
Yeah.
Okay, tell me exactly what happened. What happened?
I'm helping my friend move his parents out, and his father just shot his mom in front of us and then shot him. There's 3 bodies up on the floor.
Developing news this morning. 3 family members are dead. Wolcott police said there was a domestic shooting.
Yeah, it's a bit confusing. We're trying to sift it through for everybody here. Police say a man shot his estranged wife and their adult son, and then the adult son's friend shot and killed the husband. Fox 61's Stephen Reels has more details from police on what happened there.
Police here in Wolcott are investigating what happened on Bound Line Road that led a father to kill both his estranged wife and their son. This is as close as the police would let us get to the scene. Wolcott Police Chief Edward Stevens says someone called 911 just before 6:30 Thursday night. That person said 3 people had been shot inside a home on Bound Line Road. Once officers arrived, they found 3 people shot inside one of the home's bedrooms. Police say those 3 people were a 59-year-old father, a 55-year-old mother, and a 34-year-old son. Chief Stevens tells me the mother and father were estranged, and the father was in the process of moving out of the home on Bound Line with the help of his son and his son's friend. The chief says the mother came over to help too, but soon the 2 estranged parents began to fight, and that's when the chief says the father pulled a gun on the mother.
The son tried to intervene. He pushed him aside. He shot the mother. He turned the gun on his son, shot his son. The friend, who's a registered gun owner, took his gun out and shot the father. And he called the police right away.
We don't know the identity of the person who shot the father or if they'll face any charges at this time, but Chief Stevens tells me that it was a man in his 30s, and that person is cooperating with police as the investigation takes place. Of course, we'll bring you more updates on air and online as we learn more. In Wolcott, Stephen Reels, Fox 61.
To even think about hurting a child, especially in such a heinous manner, it's hard for us to wrap our heads around it.
We are learning new details in the case of a 10-year-old boy with Connecticut ties. Police say he died after he suffered severe abuse at the hands of his mother and her boyfriend in Florida. Police say the boy was restrained while weights were intentionally dropped onto his stomach. Fox 61's Angela Bavaro spoke with police in Tavares, Florida, ahead of a vigil planned for the child this weekend.
We're in Bloomfield. This is where the boy's father lives, who police say is now down in Florida as he navigates this tragedy. Now, police also tell me there was some sort of time sharing set up between the parents, but that boy went to school in Florida. And at school, police say he would wear longer sleeve clothes to cover up any signs of abuse. And his mother made sure he told nobody about what was happening.
These pictures provide a glimpse into the pain police say 10-year-old Xavier Williams and his brother endured inside this house in Tavares, Florida, a city just outside of Orlando.
Dropping 10-pound weights on Xavier. And additionally, to make it even more egregious, he was duct taped to a ladder with his hands above his head so that the weights would land on his exposed stomach. And
Detective Courtney Sullivan is with the Tavares Police Department.
From what I understand, Kimberly took a lot of effort in ensuring that Dad wouldn't have the ability to speak with them or see them.
Xavier's mother, Kimberly Mills, and her boyfriend, Andre Walker, are facing second-degree murder charges.
They have no prior history in terms of DCF, which is the Department of Children and Families. There's no previous abuse reports or anything like that.
On February 22nd, police say Mills and Walker brought Xavier to a local hospital in cardiac arrest, covered in bruises and burn marks. Police say the pair left the hospital when they found out law enforcement was on the way. Mills then returned with Xavier's brother, a 9-year-old who police say was also abused.
The little brother, with so much courage, explained to us what took place that night. We learned that Kimberly would use an insulated copper wire to abuse them.
Xavier remained in critical condition for almost a month before he died.
What could this 10-year-old have done to warrant this kind of abuse?
In addition to figuring out a motive,
we have some ideas.
The investigation continues into how long the abuse was reportedly happening at the hands of Mills and Walker.
From what we can put together, they've been dating for possibly 2 to 3 months. Once he kind of came into the picture, we believe that's kind of when the abuse started to really take shape.
A vigil for Xavier is planned for this Saturday in Tavares. The family has also set up a GoFundMe page to help with medical expenses and funeral costs. You can find a link to that on our website, that is fox61.com. Reporting in Bloomfield, I'm Angelo Bavaro, Fox 61.
Angelo, thank you. Well, the woman accused of holding her stepson captive for decades is expected back in court this morning. Kimberly Sullivan is expected to enter a not guilty plea to the 5 charges against her, of which 3 are felonies. She was supposed to enter that plea in her last court appearance, but that didn't happen, so a judge pushed it to today because Sullivan's attorney asked for a continuance after the state filed a motion to add more conditions to Sullivan's release.
My understanding, they wish to add some type of electronic monitoring or GPS bracelet. I'm sorry that she's been convicted worldwide and everyone wants to proceed to a lynching. But we have a system, she has rights, the same rights that everyone else has, and we intend on protecting those rights and her having her day in court.
The court is expected to begin after 10 a.m. We'll have an update tonight on the Fox 61 News at 5.
All new this morning, the power is back on after a truck hit a utility pole in Wethersfield. It happened just last night on Center Street. Now, we're told that a box truck snapped the pole near the intersection with Garden Street. It took a second pole down in the process. Power lines are still in the street this morning, and the area is shut down to traffic. Now, at one point, nearly 60 homes were in the dark, but the power was fully restored early this morning. So good news there. 3 teenagers are now facing charges. They're accused of spray painting racial slurs and derogatory terms inside an abandoned building in Wallingford. Now, the teens are charged with burglary, criminal mischief, and criminal trespass. Pictures of the graffiti at 50 South Main Street were posted to social media earlier this week, and Fox 61 spoke with a parent who says their son was targeted. Police tell us that they told the property owner what happened and that they are going to work to secure the building. We reached out to the Wallingford Public School Superintendent, Danielle Belize. She says, quote, the school administration is well aware of the situation that occurred off school grounds over the weekend and continues to follow all district policies and protocols for investigating and responding to such incidents, end quote.
We are following breaking news overseas. A powerful magnitude 7.7 earthquake hit central Myanmar, where a state of emergency has now been declared. We know at least 2 people were killed and more were buried when a high-rise that was under construction collapsed. An emergency responder said they've rescued 7 people. Look at this, though. This were tremors felt more than 800 miles away in Bangkok, where water from a rooftop swimming pool got sloshed out and started falling down. And you can see some of the other debris that fell. Again, this is 800 miles away from the epicenter. On top of that, the U.S. Geological Survey said a magnitude 6.4 aftershock was felt about 12 minutes after the initial quake. One tourist in Bangkok described being right in the middle of the tremors.
Yeah, so I was in this building right behind me. It was a shopping mall, and I was there to buy camera equipment, and all of a sudden the whole building just began to move. Immediately there was screaming, there was a lot of panic. I just started walking calmly at first, but then the building started really moving.
And there are reports in some areas that buildings as large as 5 stories have collapsed.